All right, fellas, if you want to build an aesthetic high status physique, you absolutely must build big round 3D delts. I don't care if you're natural, I don't care if you're not. This is the amplifier of your physique, and it take your physique from average to aesthetic, average to amazing. It is the highest ROI muscle group to be training and growing, and so many guys get their training wrong, and I don't blame them because a lot of the videos out there or people making content about working out, when they explain delts, they make it so basic, like they're reading a textbook. They say, there's 3 heads to the delt. We are not doing that here. We're giving you real, anecdotal, experimental, on-the-ground evidence that I've got over the last 14 years of being able to build round 3D delts, even when my genetics weren't that great. So if you want to build the type of shoulders that makes every single piece of clothing you wear look amazing, make your V-taper look insane, that this is the video for you. And I'm not going to give you any bullshit. I'm going to be nuanced, though. I'm going to tell you if you're intermediate, beginner, advanced, what you should be doing to really amplify your physique with round delts. So first thing we need to talk about, your workout. You need to prioritize what part of your shoulder needs to grow. And there's going to be 2 types of people here. There's going to be the type of person that has very little shoulder development. They look flat. And there's going to be the type of person that's missing just one piece that could change everything. So if you're the guy that's starting out and you just have very flat shoulders, there's no development there. You basically just have arm all the way up. We need to start with our bread and butter, which is going to be lateral raises. Dumbbell lateral raises are your best friend. You need to treat this as your compound movement. You need to pretend this is your squat. You need to get as amped up going into that workout. And you need to focus on progressive overload. This is where so many guys go wrong. How many people go to the gym and just do 10, 15, or 20-pound dumbbells for 3 years straight? And they wonder why their shoulders look the exact same. You need to make sure your shoulders are getting stronger over time. Not that you're just moving more weight, that you're putting more tension on the side delt. And in my opinion, dumbbell laterals is the best way to do it. You get good at dumbbell lateral raises, you can go to any machine, you can do any type of cable, and you are going to get a good connection. But you need to get good at the basics. You don't need any equipment. All you need is dumbbells, and you can grow big delts. And I'm going to go into the nuance of how to do it later, but let's go on to the other option. You are just missing one piece. And for most guys, this is going to be rear delts. They have decent front delts. They have decent side delts. However, their rear delts are lagging behind. You want to be starting with some type of rear delt fly to isolate the rear delt in the beginning of your workout. Make it a priority when you're fresh, you have all the energy in the world, and you're mentally not fatigued, so you can connect to that muscle better. And that's where most guys actually mess up when they're training their rear delts, is they just don't have the mind-muscle connection. And this took a while for me to actually build up, but I'm going to give you a few cues and a few pointers when I go into the nitty-gritty of doing each exercise and explain how to build that a little bit better with some cues. So you've either done lateral raises or you've done rear delt flies. Whatever one you didn't do, you're going to do after that one, because we need to be prioritizing these heads, the side delt and the rear delt, before we do any pressing. Realistically, your front delt probably is somewhat overdeveloped. And I don't even realistically use any front overhead pressing for shoulder development. I do it just for overhead strength, because really every single time I do it, I'm getting a lot of upper chest and a lot of triceps. I do obviously get a delt pump, but your front delts get a lot of work. If you're doing dips, if you're doing incline pressing, they're getting hit the whole time. And realistically, you don't need more front delt. Now we're moving on to our overhead pressing movement. I have 2 options here, one for beginners and one for intermediate or advanced. For the beginners and early intermediates, I want you doing a seated Smith machine overhead press. It's stable. You're going to be able to move quite a bit of weight. You're going to build that overhead pressing strength, which is really important in terms of just how your physique is going to look. It's going to build that density, but it's also going to help you in so many different exercises, like any of your pressing movements. But when I want you doing this, I don't want you sitting 90 degrees on the bench. I want you actually sitting at around 75 degrees. It's going to be more comfortable. It's going to be less shoulder pain. And overall, you're going to be able to progress way faster. But you, as I said earlier, you're going to get some upper chest. But who doesn't need more upper chest, fellas? Let's be real for a second. Now, if you are intermediate, late intermediate, or advanced, I want you trying behind the neck press on the Smith machine. Now, before you come after me, a lot of you are going to say, that's dangerous. Oh, I'm going to hurt myself. You're probably not if you do it correctly. You need to do it slow and controlled. You don't want to be trying to set world records here, moving 300 plus pounds, putting 3 plates on the Smith machine. But in my opinion, this is absolutely essential for really well-developed delts. And the best part about this is we've already done lateral raises, we've already done rear delts. So we're not going to be able to go as heavy as we usually could if we put them at the beginning of our workout, therefore most likely reducing our risk of injury. As I said, late, intermediate, or advanced, you need to have really good connection to your muscle. You need to be able to be aware of your body in space and time and make sure you're actually staying safe. Keep those ones short and simple. Boom, we've done our overhead pressing movements. Now I like to add in a little bit of an accessory. I like to train my shoulders from a bunch of different angles. Your shoulders are interesting. They can handle high volume and heavy weight. When was the last time you really had sore side delts? Sore rear delts? Barely ever, unless you're brand new to the gym. So that means they can handle it. They can recover quickly. So I like to do a wide grip upright row. 2 sets of this, a little bit higher reps. And just make sure I'm treating it almost like a lateral raise, but I'm getting a little bit of extra traps in there as well. Or I like to do a rear delt row. Again, we're hitting the rear delts from a different angle. We're able to overload the weight a little bit more than doing the rear delt fly. And it's an overall great mass builder for just getting those girthy 3D delts. So a few tips when you're doing upright rows. Number 1, you need to use a little bit of body English to actually allow yourself to make room for the bar. I typically use an easy bar just because the weight's already set up and I don't want to be going around switching weights all the time. And I'm trying to go fairly heavy when I do this. I'm not trying to PR, I'm not trying to max out. I'm trying to get 12 reps for good, clean, smooth sets. But make sure at the bottom of the movement, your hips are slightly tucked back and you're barely leaned over. And then as you come up, you're standing up straight and you're doing basically the exact same as you would while doing a lateral raise. You're going to feel your side delts get a crazy pump. You're going to feel a little bit in your rear delts, but definitely your traps as well. But the same as when we're doing a lateral raise, we don't want to be shrugging the weight up. We want to make sure we're actually just using our elbows. So always lead with your elbows. Next, when we're doing a rear delt row, you want to make sure you're not actually pulling it all the way back as far as you can. You just need to pull it until your arms are about parallel to your body and then go back down, feel the stretch on your rear delts, then come back up. Lastly, I like to do something for posture, for shoulder health, mobility, because there's no point having a jacked physique if you're walking around all fucked up looking, hunched over, poor posture, completely ruins the aesthetic. So I either do face pulls or Y raises, or you could even do Lou raises as well. Guys, keep these real simple. Do the exercises. Don't go super heavy on the Y raises or the Lou raises. Really focus on taking your shoulders for a full range of motion and making sure you're actually hitting the targeted muscles. But these are going to be absolutely essential. And you may be hearing this and thinking, oh, I don't want to do these because they're not going to build tons of mass. But you will thank me a few years down the line. Now, talking about the nitty gritty, the nuances. Dumbbell lateral raises. Number 1, slightly bend your arms. Not a ton. I'm talking 15 degrees maybe. Bend your arms and lead with your elbows. But again, the same as the upright row, I want you to give a little bit of body English. If you're doing super strict ones, arms straight out to the side, and you can only move 20 pounds, and then you use 10% body English. You just allow the weights to come in front of you at the bottom, and then you raise them up, and you lean back slightly, and you can do 35s. You're going to build 10 times bigger delts. Your body works in unison. It's not meant to be static. You're not meant to stand straight up and down, super strict, and lift your arm out to the side. It's not realistic. That's not how the body operates. So don't be afraid of using a little bit of body English, and you'll see it in the videos I put on screen right now. Rear delt flies. When you're doing these, 2 cues that completely change my ability to connect to my rear delt. Number 1, when you are at the bottom of the movement, reach for the far wall, the way your arms are facing. When you go through the movement, reach for the side walls and don't go all the way back. Some of you are going way past, trying to get behind your body, touch your elbows behind you. And what ends up happening, you're just engaging your upper back, your traps, and you're taking tension off your rear delts. Again, you just want to go parallel. You don't need to always be trying to max out your range of motion in every single lift. All right, fellas, let's do a quick overview of what you need to do if you want to build massive delts. Number 1. Don't train them like a powerlifter. Don't just do overhead press. Your shoulders are going to, number 1, be super unhealthy. Number 2, they're not going to look very well developed. Focus on your rear delts and side delts. That is our main attack to build our delts, and this is going to make the biggest difference. Train them from different angles. Your delts can handle high volume. Even throw in some drop sets. Run the rack sometimes. This makes a huge difference. Every single time I do dumbbell lateral raises, my last set, I run the rack and go all the way down. So I go 35, 30, 25, 20, 15. Get a crazy pump, force the nutrients in there, and this will help. It's not going to make your delts grow in a week's time, but you do that over a year, 2 years, you're going to see a huge difference in your ability, number 1, to connect to your delts, but number 2, their size. Focus on rear delts and side delts. Don't look at your overhead pressing on a Smith machine with a barbell as a shoulder builder. Look at it more as a strength builder for your overhead strength. Use behind the neck press if you're immediate or advanced. Use upright rows and rear delt rows to add a little bit more weight and stimulus to your side and rear delts, because you can do more of those than doing fly variations or lateral raises. And don't forget to do your face pulls, Y raises, Lou raises for overall shoulder health, mobility, and posture. These are game changers. Now, if you guys want a full blueprint on how to actually implement this into a routine, DM me on Instagram @ the word routine. I will send you over my full workout routine that is 4 days a week, barely even 4 hours a week in the gym, and you will be able to follow this for years and still see fantastic results.